Today's episode is brought to you by the new lo-fi single entitled Careth Ravine by Vooch, which is available now as a pay-what-you-want, high-quality MP3 file. All proceeds go towards providing meals for those in our community. Visit our website and grab your copy and support a good cause. Thank you.
Welcome to Slow to Speak with Vooch podcast, where meaningful conversations thrive. I'm Vooch, and I'm happy to share another Lo-Fi Friday edition with you. We all aspire to excel in various aspects of life, whether it's our career, relationships, or personal growth. Having the right people around us can make all the difference. One thing I was reading this week is from Proverbs 27:17, which reads, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." This verse sums it up beautifully, comparing the sharpening effect of iron to the transformative power of close connections. I couldn't help but reflect on the wisdom of athletes like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, who emphasize the importance of having a close circle of friends that challenges and holds them accountable. So here's the question for us. How is your circle looking? Do you have like-minded individuals sharpening your walk with God? Are there God-fearing people challenging your thoughts and not you, the thinker? In sports, we have coaches, teammates, and competition to sharpen our skills. But what about your spiritual life? Now, I remember in my youth, well, I guess I wouldn't say my youth, but I remember some time ago, there was times where basically I just hesitated in coming to church functions, feeling a pull towards other activities, or harboring resentment towards people. It was during these moments that I had people close to me who wanted the best for me. They knew how to address my thoughts without condemning me personally, guiding me towards community, unity, and love, essentially representing God's grace in action. I appreciated them pointing me in the right direction. And just like iron sharpens iron, we must surround ourselves with individuals who embody that strength, just as we aspire to do it in our own lives. Well, those are my thoughts as we wrap up our Lo-Fi Friday segment for this week. I hope these reflections resonate with you as you head into the weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Visit us at slowtospeakwithvooch.com and consider supporting Careth Ravine for a great cause. Until next week, stay inspired and keep the conversation alive. Vooch out. Have you ever found yourself standing on the sandy foundation of quick fixes and shortcuts, only to realize that the storms of life left you crashing down, wondering if you should have built on solid ground? Well, in today's episode, we're going to go over a powerful analogy from Matthew 7 about being a wise builder, exploring the choice between building on rock or sand. All that and more coming up right now on Slow to Speak with Vooch podcast. Jesus had just concluded his Sermon on the Mount, and this is pretty much like his call to action from what he just preached. So starting in Matthew 7 and verse 24, Jesus says, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash." What we have here is Jesus says everyone who hears his words is like a person building a house. And that person has two foundations on which they can choose to build on, rock or sand. Now, most people choose to build on sand because it's easier to work with than rock. You get quicker results and faster satisfaction building on sand. But Jesus says those who build on sand are the ones who don't put his words into practice. And if we're honest with ourselves, we've all been there We've all read something for our quiet times, and before we close the book, immediately forget what we're reading. Or if you're able to make it past that challenge, then we get stumped soon as someone asks you, what were you reading earlier? Or let's say you try to encourage someone with what you learned during your quiet time, and just like that, it's gone. Like James 1:23-24 says, anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror and after looking at himself goes away and immediately forget what he looks like. Now, this is something that I saw. This is a quote from Denzel Washington. He says, those who can do, those who can't sit around talking about those who can. Now, can you or can you not? Or are you just one who sits on the sideline and talk about people? Or can you step up? Now ask yourself, are you someone who takes action, or do you find comfort in the sidelines merely observing God's word instead of putting it into practice?
The first thing I see is just the semi in front of me. It's windshield coming crashing down with the hail, like a big softball-sized hail hit it, and it crashed up in the front of it.
What can you do? Only thing I can think of was like, okay, got to get you off the road, got to get you somewhere. Now, tell us about when you were there. You said there was a couple that approached you.
Because when I got out the car, he just approached me. And then when I got back in my car to start to follow him, he was already at the edge of the road. Works on the major dealerships of all the areas.
Wow.
So like that Edwardsville, he goes to St. Louis. He's like that person that goes around and fix all those things. So he's very busy. And then when that happened, he got calls all over, like 100 calls in a day. And let this be in mind that it's like the policy that if you're in town, you have priority list on to get your car worked. So
I think the weird thing about it was they just took off. You know,
their type of actions, their type of hospitality is the things that we should be striving for.
Through the hailstorm with us. I mean, just with your resilience, the kindness that you encountered along the way, it's truly inspiring. I thank you for opening up and sharing with us today. I know you have, deeper emotions and everything about this. And it was an emotional time, but I'm so thankful for you sharing your story. And for those of you guys that are watching, those of you that are listening, I hope this story just resonates with you, that you can actually just feel and just feel the presence of just an amazing story, and really just feel the power and just want to just tap into the strength of the human spirit. That is very powerful, the human spirit, because we have the ability to be kind to one another, to show compassion. And with that, again, I just wanted to thank you just for being here today. And until next time, stay resilient, stay kind, and never underestimate the power of the human connection. Please like, subscribe, share this episode, and visit us at slowtospeakwithvooch.com. Vooch out. So why do we worry? Why do I worry? Well, for me, it comes down to trusting that God will provide for my needs. And Jesus tells us not to worry. On top of that, the Bible is brimming with stories of people trusting God and trusting his story. So how can we translate Elijah's trust into our own lives? I think number one, cultivating trust through prayer and meditation. I found that prayer and meditation helps me deepen my connection with God. When I quiet my mind and open my heart to his presence, I feel a sense of peace and assurance knowing that he's in control. Number two, practicing gratitude. Now, gratitude is a game changer for me. By shifting my focus from what I lack to what I've been given, I've developed a deeper appreciation for God's provision. I know one thing I want to start doing is keeping a gratitude journal, or at least ending my quiet times with something I'm grateful for, along with reflecting on blessings each and every day. And thirdly, the thing that I wrote down is stepping out in faith. Trusting God often involves taking leaps of faith, especially when the road seems uncertain. It means recognizing those areas in our lives where we tightly cling to control and learning to release them to God through prayer. Again, as I said before, it's not always easy, but we have to trust that He knows what is best for us and will provide for our needs, just as He provided for Elijah in the Kerith Ravine. Well, those are my thoughts as we wrap up Lo-Fi Fridays segment for this week. I hope these reflections resonate with you as you head into the weekend. And remember, no matter what challenges you may face, trust in God's provision and embrace the journey ahead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Visit us at slowtospeakwithvooch.com and consider supporting Kerith Ravine for a great cause. Until next week, stay inspired, keep the conversation alive. Vooch out.